Hello, welcome to another vlog. Today is a little different. We are doing a book reading vlog, which will be super duper fun. And yes, I'm wearing a comfy, aka basically just a huge blanket. So it's like making me look like I have muscles right now. But I thought I would let you guys know because I'm starting my first one. It's a recommendation from my sister because I've decided I think I'm gonna read, well, you'll see by the title, but either mostly or all thrillers because that's what my sister's really into. So I thought it would be like a good place to start. So she suggested The Other Misses by Mary Kubica. So that is what I'm starting with. So I will keep you guys updated of how this all goes. I'm pretty interested because, like, obviously I've read other things, but I don't think I've ever read a thriller. So maybe it'll become a new fave. Who knows? Let's see together. Hello guys, it's much later. I read a bunch today. I'm like 25% through the book. I think I figured it out. I'm like really confident in my prediction. Like, this book has 3 different narrators: Sadie, Camille, and Mouse. And spoilers ahead, but I think they're all the same person. I think that Sadie, who's like our main character, has split personalities, and I think each one is her, and I think she's the, and yeah, I'm feeling really confident about it. I feel like I have a lot of evidence to back it up, and I think it's a really good theory, and I think my years of Criminal Minds watching has really helped me to get to this point, and I'll be interested to see if I'm right. But yeah, I'm gonna read some more right now, which is at night, which I feel like is gonna be more freaky than during the day, but we'll see. Guys, I'm pretty confident I'm right in this theory. I'm at 56% through my book, and just more little nuggets of like proof that she has multiple personalities and she is Sadie, Camille, and Mouse. Like, Tate, her youngest son, just wanted to play with her, and he was like, let's play the statue game, and Sadie's like, I don't know what that is, I have no idea what you're talking about. And she was playing with this, and there was a doll in the room, and she was like, pick up your doll, Tate. And Tate's like, that's your doll, like, that's not my doll. And then Sadie's like, what do you mean, obviously it's not my doll, and then gets upset and whatever. Then we go to Mouse's chapter, which is the next chapter, and within the chapter, Mouse plays the statue game with her father, and she's like, this is like my favorite game, I love playing this game. And guess what? Mouse probably played it with Tate, and Tate knows that it's his mom, so it's like, Mom, play the statue game. But she doesn't know what it is because she's Mouse, but she's not Mouse right that moment. And like, seeing like Camille's like chapters now too, like she's on the island with them, which is like, obviously. And then she's saying she's like writing stuff on the windshield of Sadie's car and stuff, and I'm like, like how that was the word at the beginning. Like, I feel like it's all making sense, so it's all just falling into place, and I feel really smart if this is right because I got it so early on. And if I'm wrong, that's gonna be super embarrassing. Guys, we need to talk, we need to discuss, we need to literally talk. Okay, so The Other Misses, this is not at the right spot. Okay, so I got to the part, it all happened like at once. Like, I literally was like reading, and then I was like, okay, I don't know, like we don't have too much left, like I'm just gonna keep reading, and then it was like, it went so fast. Okay, I was right. I wasn't fully right, but I feel like I am, and I'll explain why. So she does have multiple personalities, DID, and I was right about that. All 3 of the narrators are her and her different identities. I think it became like more and more apparent as I was talking about with you guys. I feel like I was just like, I feel like this is so right. I feel like they're giving you so many good hints for it. And then the like twist that I didn't necessarily, I like kind of saw coming, okay, is that her husband was like the one that was like the puppet master, and the one that was like, he knew she had DID, so then he was like abusing her and like manipulating her to like do his for him. And I did say, though, I didn't say it on the vlog. I was talking to my sister about it because she's the one that recommended me the book. And I said, like, so early on, I was like, they're making the husband seem so good. I was like, he's sketchy. And I said the night when, like, their alibi was, like, each other, that, like, they were together, but then she didn't really remember it. I was like, you know what? I bet he did something. I was like, I bet he's being sketchy. And I was right. I wasn't fully right that, like, he knew and, like, was manipulating her. So, like, I was, like, a little wrong on that. And then I did like how, like, Imogen saved her. I also, like, once it was happening, I was like, oh, that's definitely how this is gonna end, but I didn't, like, pre-predict that. I really liked it. I gave it a 3.5 because I felt like I did figure out the twist, the main twist, like, so early on. So I felt like I couldn't rank it, like, higher than that, but I felt like it was really good readability. It was really fun, and I really did enjoy it for my first thriller ever. Oh my gosh. And it was a good twist. It was a good twist. I think I just, like, I don't know. I don't know why I called it so early. I guess just too much Criminal Minds watching, or just a good guess. I don't really know. But now I think there's, like, 2 books I'm thinking about reading next, both recommended by my sister, because my sister's, like, as I am to romance books, she is to thrillers. She's obsessed and she loves them and knows so much about them. So, like, obviously I was gonna go to her. So one book is a book she's already read and was, like, recommending to me. Both sound good to me, so, like, I don't really care. And then the other one is one that she wants to start now too. So I was like, oh, that could kind of be fun. Like, we could talk about it. Oh my god, why do you keep falling? I caught you both times, though. I thought that could be kind of fun, like, talking about it and being like, what are your theories? What are my theories? So I think I'm going to do that one next, but also I'm going to be reading a lot more accelerated than her because I'm trying to get this video out. So maybe I should read the other one first so then she can get started on that book, and then by the time that she's kind of, like, halfway through that book, I could catch up. I'll need to discuss with her because I need to pick my book today so I can start reading it today. But I was very happy that I finished The Other Misses. I started my next book. It's All the Dangerous Things by Stacy Willingham. I chose to do that one first because I was like, oh, I'll do that one pretty quickly and then give my sister some time, because I don't even know if she started the guest list yet, and then read that one later this week. I read, like, the first 4 chapters of the book, and I don't really know anything about this book. My sister did read me the, like, blurb, but I really don't remember it. But it's about a woman and her son goes missing, and he's been missing for a year. So this is, like, the year anniversary is basically when we pick up. And she still has, like, no leads, no idea what happened, and she has, like, really, really, really bad sleeping problems. Like, she basically hasn't slept in a year. And she used to sleepwalk when she was a kid. We're having, like, flashes of her childhood, and it's kind of weird and, like, what's going on? But yeah, I'm, like, 28% in right now. It's pretty good. It feels more like I have no idea. I have no leads with her. I mean, I really don't know who it could be. I feel like we don't really have that much into the case yet. So that's kind of interesting comparatively to the other one. I feel like more had happened at this point in the crime. But this one, I feel like not as much has happened. Or, like, we don't know the details of what's happened. But yeah, so I'll keep you updated. But I'm liking it so far. Okay, I just got out of the bath. I was reading, and I'm at, like, 70% now. And okay, I really don't have any theories. They're trying to make it seem like she did it, but I feel like that's too obvious. Like, I don't think she would do it. And also, like, I don't think she would be this obsessed. Like, I don't know. I don't think she did it. I don't think she hurt her sister either. I think it's all, like, oh, they're explainable, but, like, that's the red herring that they want you to, like, think. That's the bathtub. As I said, I just got out of it. That's kind of annoying. Hold on. Sorry about that. Back to my theories, or lack thereof, honestly. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I feel like that's too obvious. I feel like that's not right. But then I don't really know who else to look for. I mean, there's, like, the sketchy neighbor, but I'm like, I don't know. Everything's kind of just, like, my only, like, if she did do something with Mason, her son, I don't think him, I think she like gave him to another family or something. Because like I can't see him like at all. I mean, I can't see her even doing that. I'm not happy with that theory. But I feel like this one is moving like way slower than the other one I read, and like giving us details about the case. So I don't know. Maybe I'll probably feel really stupid once it's revealed and I'll be like, oh, it was her, or it was this, or whatever. So I don't really know. I'll hit you guys back up when I finish though. Okay guys, I have finished All the Dangerous Things. Is that what it's even called? I never remember titles. All the Dangerous Things by Stephanie Willingham. I just finished it. Okay. Had me a little gooped and gagged just because I did not predict it at all. Like, I don't know. Okay, so the grand reveal of who took her child, Mason, was that it was her ex-husband, or current husband at the time, the father of Mason, Ben's girlfriend. He was having an affair at the time, and she is the one that took Mason and then gave him to another woman who couldn't have kids that she knew, that felt like was a more deserving mother. So I kind of got that bit, that like that it went to like a more deserving family or whatever, but that's basically all I got. I will say, when I realized that Waylon was Allison's brother and that he thought Ben did it, I was not thinking Ben like the entire time. I don't know why. I just was like, I guess to me maybe it was too obvious. I was like, it's not either one of the parents, it's like something else, even though the whole time they were basically trying to say it's one of them and trying to make you believe it was her, not him. But to me, I was like, no, it's neither of them, it's someone else. Which, I mean, it technically was someone else because it was this girl, like his mistress, but there were also like, Ben was like the manipulator, and like he didn't make her do it, but like he told her that the camera was out of batteries, and like with his first wife, who he like left the pills out on the counter and like kind of hinted that that's what he wanted her to do, and like things like that just like weren't right. So I don't know. I guess these two books the first two thrillers I've read seem kind of similar in certain regards. Like, the mothers think they did it and are really concerned. This narration that you can't trust, that both of these women have other issues going on in their life that make them unreliable, and even unreliable to themselves, and they don't really know what's happening. That everyone else around them kind of is aware of something that they're not, and then that the husband is kind of the puppet master behind it all. I mean, obviously in the first one the husband was like way more the puppet master, and then this one he was still manipulating and still the puppet master, but like in the shadows more. And it was crazy. So I gave it a 3.5 as well, because I still did enjoy it, but I wasn't like, I need to finish this. I've been noticing these books have been taking me like slightly longer than my romance books tend to take me. My romance books, I would say like a lot of them I read in one day, and then like I would say my average is like 2 to 3 days, and then the average for these two books I would say are like 4 to 5 days. So like still not bad, but definitely like slower than I usually read. I just haven't like found myself wanting to read as much as I usually do, which could be a number of things, but just kind of interesting to note. And it is like, I also can't really read them at night as much. They don't like super freak me out. Neither of them have really freaked me out much at all, but just like a little bit. Like, I have to have a palate cleanser if I would go to bed right after. I couldn't just like go from the book straight to bed. I'd have to like watch a YouTube video or episode of Bob's Burgers or something like that. But I think I'm gonna start the guest list today, because it's Sunday and I have a lot of reading time, so I feel like that would probably be good. And I'll check in with my sister, because I know she was gonna start reading it soon too. I don't know if she has. I don't think she has started it. But yeah, maybe I'll get this one right again, because I'm like kind of 1 for 2 right now. I feel like I definitely got the first one, but I did not get any of the second. So let's see how I do on the third. Hello divas, I have started my third book, which is The Guest List by who? Lucy Foley. It's by Lucy Foley. I'm 37% through the book right now. I do really like it. It feels different than the other two. It's more like, it feels like Clue, especially the movie, or like, I was about to say White Lotus, but that's not right. Glass Onion. Is that what that's called? Knives Out. The second one was called Glass Onion, but I was like, that's not what that's called. Knives Out. It feels like Knives Out. I think if you liked that, you would like this book, because it's very like, it basically, the story is there's on a like remote island where they're having a wedding for the weekend, and basically all the people at the wedding are the suspect. We don't even know who's yet, like who's dead. We don't even know. I don't even know. I'm 37% through the book. It's like you see snippets of like the day of when it's like happening, but most of it is like the day before or like the weekend leading up to it, which I think is super cool, because then it's kind of like you're building up these characters. It feels more like, versus the other ones that I read were kind of like working backwards, but this one's working like forwards, if that makes sense. Like the crime hasn't even happened yet, really. I mean, kind of. So I like that, and I think the characters are interesting. I don't really know like what's gonna happen. I mean, I don't even know what the crime is yet. I mean, I know someone, but like I don't know the context. I don't know around what. I don't know, but it is funny. The first like characters introduced are Jules or Julia, Hannah, Will, and Maddie is like the boat guy. He's like not that important, but that's literally, I'm Julia, and then my boyfriend's Matt or Maddie, and then my sister is Hannah, and then her husband's Will. So it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know. I was kind of gagged by that. I was like, okay, maybe this book is made for me. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting outside. It's so nice. It's the first day of the year that I can sit outside and read. Very nice. It's starting to get kind of cold now, but I've been out here for a little bit. But I'm at 67% through the book, and some things have happened. Still, we don't know who the body is or what really happened at all. All we know now, some updates are, we know kind of what happened to her sister Olivia and all of that drama. We also know that the guy that all that happened with was Will, her sister's now husband, because they're married now, which is kind of crazy. And I'm starting to think too, because Hannah's sister had like a traumatic thing happen to her as well, that then later led to her doing even more traumatic things. It was because of a guy, and like a guy that like did bad things to her, and I think that it's gonna be Will. I think that's gonna be the reveal, because she never really like knew the guy, so I think, but she keeps being like, he seems familiar, like I don't know, it's so weird. So that's my prediction now of who I think the body is. I guess I'm gonna say Will, because I feel like we're getting motives of multiple people who would have done it, because now it's like Olivia could have done it, Jono, his best man, could have done it, because like he lied to him and prevented him from being on the show. It could maybe be Hannah, if that's true. It could be what's his name, Charlie. So I feel like there's like a lot of people it could be, so I feel like that makes the most sense for who's going to end up. But I don't know who it will actually be. Maybe it'll be Jules, and maybe it'll be like crazy. That's my prediction now. I don't know why it would be, but I think he's gonna be the body, and I think Jules did it. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, I was right about 2 things so far. I was right that Will was the guy that did the things to Alice, which is Hannah's sister, and then I was also right that the body is Will's, but I still don't know who did it. I'm at 84%, but I'm pretty glad that I got both those things, even though at the point I got them it was kind of pretty obvious. But still, let's see if it was Jules. Crazy. We just saw the happen, and I didn't get that loner was, oh, I don't remember how to say her name, Afi, the wedding planner's brother. And that Freddie is the other kid. Yeah, I probably should have seen that, but I didn't. But I was like, but it's not over yet. I'm at like 88, and I stopped because I thought we were eating dinner, but then it was a false alarm, so now I'm gonna go finish the book. LOL, I literally only had the epilogue to finish reading, from the last clip to this clip. Okay, so that was basically the end of the book. This book was very interesting. It felt so different than the first two thrillers I read. It was so different because, like, the crime didn't happen for, like, so long. We didn't know who it was, and we didn't know, like, anything. Like, it was obviously all the stuff before. I liked that. I feel like it gave you a real look into the characters. I feel like this is the one with definitely the most characters, but definitely I feel like had the most fleshed out characters. I don't know, I really liked it. I ended up giving it a 3.5, which is what I've been giving all of them because I did really like it, but I don't know, I got bored at times. I will say the last, I mean, not the like last little bit, like when everything's happening, but like the middle chunk of the book took me longer than I thought it would take to read, because I just was kind of like, okay. A lot of the smaller like surprises or mysteries I kind of knew, like I kind of guessed what happened to Olivia. I eventually guessed what happened, well, I guessed what happened to Hannah's sister, but then I guessed that Will was the guy with Hannah's sister. I kind of felt like that's what happened with Jono in the TV show. Like, I don't know, I felt like there were like a couple pieces that I got, but I did not see the ending of it being the wedding planner, and I think that would be cool to reread it now and go back and see if there are more hints of like her being upset, because I know there's like hints she was being, I thought her sister had died, like drowning or something, but they did mention drowning like other times and stuff like that. So like once I knew what exactly happened to the boy, I should have kind of like pieced it together, but it didn't. I think I'm gonna pick it this time because the last three have all been recommendations for my sister, but I think this time I'm just gonna do like a search and try to find something that sounds really interesting to me. Not that these haven't been super interesting to me, I have really liked them, but pick it myself and see how that goes. So I still need to do all that research. That'll probably happen tomorrow. I probably won't even start it until tomorrow, but I wanted to update you guys right away because I was like, I filmed that video, literally went to the next page, it was the epilogue. I was like, oh, and then I was like ran back in here. Hello guys, I started my last book of this video, my last thriller. I don't even think I told you guys what I picked. I'm making my Kindle wake up so I can show you guys. First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston, which I kind of just found this by looking at a bunch of different like thriller book videos and like lists and stuff, because obviously I like know nothing about the genre really. And it was kind of funny because I told my sister, who loves thrillers and has been giving me all the recommendations, I was like, this is the book I picked, like it sounds really cool to me, I'm really excited. And she was like, oh, I've heard really bad things about that book. Which, to be fair, she said like there were good ones too, but like some of them were just like saying that they like tried to overcomplicate it and they wanted a book that was so like I don't know, it was obvious they were trying to make things like super complicated so you like couldn't guess them, but almost like too complicated so that you couldn't guess them. Like, so we'll see. So far I'm like 29% in and I'm loving it. It is so good. It's like the plot is like this girl is she gets sent on jobs and like basically she's like a con artist and she like has a whole new persona and is like usually stealing money or stealing things from these people and then like disappears, and she gets assigned this guy and she's supposed to like fall in love with him and then do something to him. I still don't know what the job is exactly for him, but she's like under high pressure because she messed up on her last one, so like her employer's like, you are not getting back in my good graces unless you nail this one. And then to add even like more pressure, her employer sent someone with her name and her backstory, like her real name and her real backstory, into their lives right now. So like, if it's like easier to get her cover blown, I feel like, I don't know, it's like really weird. But I think, I mean, I don't really have predictions so far. I think my only prediction is that like he is also lying to her, because I feel like that's kind of not obvious, but kind of obvious at this moment. Like, I think that's why it's like first lie wins, because I think it's like they're both doing something to each other right now and neither one really knows. So that's my only prediction right now. I still don't really know a lot about it. I think it's cool too, like she'll talk about like, oh, I don't want them asking me about like my parents or something, so then she like diverts the question and then she makes like a bigger deal about something else. So then she's like, so then hopefully they'll remember that and not the question that I didn't answer. And I'm like, that's so smart. Like the things she does, I'm like, that's so smart. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm honestly probably gonna finish it today or tomorrow, because I'm like, I need to read it. I need to read more. Hear me out. Is this crazy? Maybe her employer, like Mr. Smith, isn't that his name? Yeah, maybe that's Ryan. Hear me out, because I'm like, we know Ryan is in shady business and he's lying. We know that she's lying to him, obviously, but then we also know that this is like really important to her and she's trying to figure out why Mr. Smith would send her on this specific mission. Like, this is specifically a job he sent her on to prove herself. So it's important, but it seems like it's beyond just like the job. We've never seen her, obviously we've never seen her call him the same time that she calls Mr. Smith or like anything like that, like, or calls Mr. Smith, like Ryan's never there, obviously. And I think that could make some sense. And then I think also, maybe this is my romance brain taking over, but I'm like, I want them to end up together. I want, well, I guess Luca, like the actual girl's name, and Ryan to end up together, because I feel like they make sense. And then if they're both lying to each other, then like they can work it out because they're both lying. And if it is something like he's Mr. Smith, then that could like work out. And also I'm thinking it because the only guy she's seen like actually in the office with Mr. Smith was, I think his name was Matt, and he was very like good looking and like sharp dressed and like all of the things I feel like Ryan would be. So I feel like that would make sense that Ryan would need them to be like that. And then like, I feel like that makes sense, you know? And then that would make sense why this is an important job. Like, he's looking at everything she does and is making sure that she's being good and like is actually good at her job. I don't know, maybe that's a really bad guess, but I feel like that's what I'm leaning towards right now. Guys, I did finish the book. I feel like I'm such a bad reading vlogger when like I really, really like the book, because I didn't want to stop reading and everything was just like, I was like, oh, well, I can talk about this, but then I'll just wait. So I apologize, genuinely, but it was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I do see how people's criticisms of like, there's too much happening or like you couldn't have seen the ending coming, but I kind of also disagree, because I think there are enough hints that like you can get it, you're probably just not going to get it, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, as long as it's set up and it's a person that we know, not like some random person, then I'm always satisfied, I feel like, or at least minimally satisfied. So I was fine with it. I was wrong in my prediction. Ryan was not Mr. Smith, which ended up being a good thing, because like when I said that, I didn't realize how bad Mr. Smith was. Like, I knew he was bad, but I didn't know how bad. But I was right that Ryan was like working with him, but it was kind of lame. He like barely was working with him. But basically George, who was like one of her like co-workers that like interacted with her a lot, was actually Mr. Smith, which was interesting because we did see him and we did see like a nice side of him, and it seemed like he was always giving her hints, and he was like kind of against Mr. Smith sometimes. Not like against, but like, I don't want to do it, but he's gonna make me do it. Like, you need to do better. And like, I don't know, I think it was interesting because he was like the good cop and then Mr. Smith was like the bad cop. So I think that was really interesting. And then the like grand reveal was that she had been turning on him for the last 4 years, and it was all because like one of the jobs she did 4 years ago, when they were like all pitted against each other, only her and the other girl that like figured out the puzzle were alive, and the rest were by Mr. Smith because they like didn't pass his test. And she was like, that's super messed up. You're just creating like such a, like, what's stopping you from doing that to me if I fail your next test? And like, she almost did fail. Like, literally, it was like Devin saved her. So that really hit home, and she started working with Amy, who was the other girl, the other agent, whatever you want to call them. And that, of course, was like a huge reveal, because then we know that Amy is the girl at the end, that she is like, her case right before this that she like messed up on, that Amy dies and she doesn't get any of the information. But that's not true. But Kim, that's not true, is it? Because she's alive and she didn't die, and they were working together. And I really liked how they like explained the plan. Like, the plan made a lot of sense to me. It was very smart. It was like, they teamed up 4 years ago and they were like, we need to find Mr. Smith. I'm sure he's like doing something bad to one of his partners. We need to find it. We need to find proof. And then we need to like create this entire scenario that we can catch him in. So they did. And so Amy was the scapegoat of like pretending she was like going like crazy and got all this information on Mr. Smith, which she did have. And then Mr. Smith sent, I guess we're calling her Evelyn, I don't really know, Evelyn, to deal with Amy, but he didn't know they were working together. And then they worked together and they didn't kill Amy. Amy's still alive. Everything was good. She kept the information. Evie kept the information. And then she dropped it off at the lockbox. No, she didn't. She dropped off a little origami swan, and she kept the information and then told the like mafia boss that Mr. Smith had been screwing over, and then basically was like, here he is, bread on a platter for you, do what you want. And I really, really liked that. I thought it was a smart plan. I liked how it was like, it wasn't revealed to the end. I felt like Evie was always 2 steps ahead of everyone, including us. And I liked that. I liked how they were still surprises to her that she had to work around, like a classic good heist movie or like spy movie. Because like, she didn't know Ryan was involved. When she saw Ryan and George talking, that really freaked her out. Like, she didn't know about all of the like police stuff. Like, I feel like there was a lot of really good nuggets there. Back to the Ryan stuff. I love them together. I was so happy that they like ended up together. I literally was like squealing, kicking my feet. I was disappointed how Ryan was involved, because he's basically like barely involved. He basically is like, he does shady like dealings of like trucking industry, like sending out and accepting transactions of like shady things like from the black market, whatever. And basically all that he was involved with Mr. Smith was Mr. Smith approached him and said, hey, Evie, this girl is stealing from you. And then he was like, okay. But it was so cute when Mr. Smith gave him the like reports that Evie had been giving Mr. Smith. And Ryan was super mad and was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I can't trust her. And then he noticed that they were wrong because Evie didn't want to do it to him. And then he was like, wait, these are wrong. Like, why was she doing that? And like, was like trusting her more because of that. Because then he was like, well, then Mr. Smith is lying to me. Like, why is she doing this? So then like he trusted her more. And then I feel like you can truly see like the connection between them. I think you can see them like both not fully trusting each other, but also loving each other, which I think is really cute. And then like eventually the trust comes when she like tells him everything. And I mean, they still trusted each other. That's the whole thing. They trusted each other, just like they both knew they weren't telling the complete truth. But I really, really like this book. Guys, I gave it a 5-star rating. I really liked it. I thought it was so good. Like I said, this is my favorite type of thriller that's not I love like spy stuff, and it's not spy, but it's basically spy, or like heist adjacent. It's basically that. I love those types of books. I liked that it was a thriller with like the mystery plot still involved, but there was no like straight up, like the crime was more, I don't know. It wasn't just like, oh, here's one bad guy. Like, we knew Mr. Smith was the bad guy from the start. I guess we didn't know his identity, but we knew it was him. And I don't know, I just felt like it was like a lot different than the other three I read in this experiment. And this one was by far my favorite. It reminds me of like other books that I read, like again, like spy or like whatever books. And I really like that. I'm honestly gonna look for books just like this because I loved this book and it was so good and so fun, and like I could not put it down, and it felt so fun to read. So I will be looking for more books like this, 1,000%. Well, I think that wraps up this reading vlog of Romance Girly reads thrillers for a week and a half, kind of 2 weeks. I feel like it was super duper fun. It's nice to get out of your bubble of like normalcy. I feel like I'm really excited to jump back into romance. It's made me really excited. I think I get why my sister really likes thrillers. It makes sense to me. They're very fun. I think I will now maybe look at thrillers more, or if my sister's like, this one's really good, maybe I will just like pick it up and read it. I mean, I've never been opposed to like reading other genres. I've just always stuck with romance, and that's like what gets me the most excited. But maybe now time for some thrillers. If you guys know spy or like ones like First Lie Wins, please tell me. Please drop them below because I would love to read more of those. And yeah, thanks for coming along this journey. It means so much to me that you guys watched the whole thing. That's crazy. You're crazy. Thank you. And I will see you guys in the next video. But you are beautiful, wonderful, kind, amazing, talented, smart, funny, and the best. And I'll see you guys in the next one.